Hi! Who's this little girl? What's happening? Yeah, say hi. Oh, just came for some scritches. Hello, my Planty Pals. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching my video. My name is Pearl. This is my channel, Plants with Pearl. I live in Canada and I love houseplants, so much so that my entire basement is dedicated to growing them so that I can stock my website, www.plantswithpearl.ca. If you're in Canada, I definitely recommend you check that out, specifically during our shipping season, so from spring to fall. We're at the beginning of November right now. We actually just finished up our 2023 shipping season. Woo! It was a great year. Thank you so much to everybody who supported our shop, sent out so many plants, and I've heard back from so many people that they really, really love them, and we've gotten really good reviews on those plants. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart to every single customer out there. I love ya. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel right now. Thank you. We're creeping up on 250 subscribers. So exciting. Thank you. So today we are back in my YouTube area, lower. And that is because I am going to be repotting a bunch of plants while I talk about some things that I wish that I knew when I was a new plant parent, or things that I think new plant parents should know, that type of deal. Nothing too technical, just tips, tricks, and maybe ways of thinking of things that are going to happen a little bit differently and not taking so much blame on yourself as a plant parent, but specifically as a new plant parent. I don't know about you, but when I was a new plant parent, I was really, really hard on myself, and you don't need to be. This is a fun hobby. We're choosing to take care of all of these plants. And yeah, at the end of the day, it's plants. So it's really not that serious. Let's get situated. All right, I think I've got everything that I need. I've got my dirt, a selection of pots, a bin for dead dirt, or the dirt that's going to come out of my pots, and a container to pot over top of in an effort to keep some of the soil off of my floor. I'm sitting on a picnic blanket, I think it was called. I just got it at the dollar store. It is upside down because the pattern is a little obnoxious for filming purposes. But yeah, it's waterproof and it's nice and stiff, so I can fold it up and carry the dirt over to a garbage bag or outside. Shout out to Dollarama. If you're Canadian, you know. I did make notes for once, so hopefully I stay on task, but that is not my strong point, so we're gonna see what happens. My first tip actually isn't on the list, and it is, if you are repotting a bunch of plants, start with the biggest plant that you need to repot first. If you don't, it's not a big deal, but what I have found myself in a bit of a pickle previously when I was in the middle of doing a bunch of repotting and ran out of bigger pots to size up into. So if you start at the top of like the bigger size and work down, theoretically that's not going to happen, especially if you have a bunch of pots waiting for you. So this is my Rojo Congo, Red Congo. It's the same plant. Really easy plant. I barely give this plant any attention, and I haven't repotted it since I brought it home about a year ago. So she's very solid. Best thing you can do for yourself as a new plant parent at the beginning when you are starting out on your plant parent journey is to figure out what type of plants you like. Now, that might seem obvious, but I promise you it's not, because when you're a new plant parent, you probably don't know exactly what the differences between plants are, like what type of different care they might need, their different light requirements. There's two ways you can go about this at the beginning. You can kind of do a bit of a scatter shot, where you can just buy a bunch of different types of plants, philodendrons, monstera, alocasia, anthurium, and survival of the fittest, you know, kind of see who thrives under your care and who does not. And you can then proceed with buying your plants accordingly. At some point, you are going to figure out what the plant needs. Some plants are just bratty, like Pink Princess Philodendron. We don't get along. For a long time, I used to say I didn't get along with Hoya because the very first one I ever bought, I killed about as quickly as I got it. Yeah, that was enough for me. I didn't touch or look at or go near Hoya for probably 2.5, 3 years. But then one day I saw some cute Hoya at the nursery and I decided I was ready, and they've been doing so well. There was some years of learning in there. There's no right or wrong way to approach plant parenthood. It's really just a choose your own adventure. And good news for us is there's no plant police. It is so easy to fall victim to wanting to buy every single trendy plant that you see on the internet, especially when you're a baby plant parent. There's so many fun plants out there, and it is so easy to get overwhelmed and just feel like you have to buy every single plant and you need to have it and you have to finish your collection. I have to have, oh, when I have all of these, then I'll be done. And it's just, there really is no limit, okay? Plant parenthood can get out of hand real fast. It is what it is. This is just things that I wish I knew at the beginning. I would have saved myself a lot of money and heartbreak. You just really want to make sure that you're buying plants that you actually like, that you want, and you're not buying plants just because somebody you follow on the internet has it or your friend has it and it's really beautiful. You got to ask yourself the question, do I like this plant? Do I want this plant? Since I've started doing that, it really has helped me become a more successful plant parent. Moving along to the Philodendron Snowdrift. This is such a gorgeous plant. She's quite slow. She definitely grew a lot for us over the summer, but we're creeping into winter right now, and I'm fully expecting all of that progress to halt. Using my trusty butter knife to go all the way along the edge and make sure that this plant is going to slide out really nicely for me. A lot of the plant advice out there, a lot of the hard no's, or you can't do this, or you have to do this, they aren't actually hard no's. It's just anecdotes for the most part. Like I mentioned previously, there is no plant police. If you are doing something for your plant and it's working, and then you come across somebody you really like on the internet and they say, you can't do this for your plant, it's going to die. Should you stop doing that thing? No. If it's working for you, good. Your prerogative, it's your plants. You can do what you want. Because I've found personally that it's just not always true. In Canada, it's cold. It's really cold. It gets cold in my house at nighttime. And in the wintertime, my house gets really dry because the central heating is on. So if I'm sitting here taking care of my plants in the middle of winter in Canada, it's not going to do me any favors to be taking plant care advice from somebody who lives in Florida and has all of their plants like outside in a shade house. How they take care of their plants and how I take care of my plants, world of a difference. And they can both be correct. Darkness is not low light. Say it with me now. Darkness is not low light. And of course, we all have different interpretations of what low light truly is. To me, low light is a spot in a room that gets lots of light, many windows, but it is away from a window. It's not close to a window, so it's still going to get some ambient sunlight, but there's no direct light touching the plants at all. Dark corners, bathrooms, no, don't do it. That is darkness as far as a plant is concerned. Your plant is very sad. And we're moving along to our friend, the Alocasia. I don't actually know if it's Cuprea or Cuprea, but it's this beauty. So my next piece of advice is that you need to be really careful about where you are getting your plant care advice. I don't recommend just Googling Alocasia cuprea care and then just clicking on the first 2 or 3 articles and just heeding whatever advice is spat out at you. Especially now in the age of ChatGPT, I've noticed a lot, like a crazy amount of absolute nonsense articles about plants. Just because the houseplants are popular right now, and articles about houseplants are going to get a lot of hits. 100% just putting random plant names into AI generators and having them write out plant care articles. I read a plant care article a few weeks ago, and I was in tears because of how funny it was. At the beginning, you actually couldn't tell that it wasn't written by a human. But then towards the end of the article, it literally was just spitting out absolute nonsense. If you're just out here trying to use the internet to figure out your new hobby, you can fall victim to nonsense plant advice brought to you by AI. So what I recommend to avoid that is find a few real live people, be it on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Basically, what I'm trying to say is just make sure that you're taking advice from an actual human being that has actually taken care of plants before. I don't want you to kill your plants because you took some really bad advice from a robot. When you're out there and trying to get your bearings with your houseplant collection, find people who live in similar climates to you. That's definitely going to be really helpful. People who live in very beautiful, warm places. And if I followed their plant care advice and was watering my houseplants every day, I would have none. Next up, I've got one of my 2 Calathea. This is my, Calathea or Calathea Zebrina. And she is special because she was on a table with a bunch of normal Zebrinas, but she's variegated. Know that it is a really easy and really tempting trap to fall into, and that is the trap of having matching pots. You're new to plants, it seems like that's not going to be a problem. It's no big deal. You just have like a few plants, 5, 6, 10. Sure, we can all buy the same color pots, no problem. But that gets really expensive really quickly, especially if you decide to go with an aesthetic that isn't just plain terracotta. Now, if having matching pots brings you joy, I am not going to sit here and tell you that you can't do that. So this isn't for you. But this piece of advice is for people who feel like they have to have cute matching pots. Do yourself a favor, save yourself a lot of headaches, and give yourself permission to have pots that don't match. Most of my plant pots are from the dollar store. I've got a couple in from Walmart, a bunch from nurseries. These are from Canadian Tire. It's so easy to start spending more money on the pots themselves than the plants, especially the longer you stay in the plant game. The bigger pots get so expensive. These big pots, if you're buying them in ceramic, they are expensive. They are so expensive. Your plants are going to lose leaves, and it's not your fault, and it doesn't mean that you've done anything wrong. Plants are going to lose leaves. It's just a fact of life. I don't make the rules. I'm just here letting you know. Now, if your plant stops growing and is also losing leaves, you may have some cause for concern. But if your plant looks good, has nice perky leaves, and you're concerned because you have dying leaves at the bottom or on the oldest part of the vine, if it's a vining plant, just a part of the plant cycle, friends. You're not doing anything wrong. Do not stress yourself out about every single brown leaf. You'll lose your sanity so fast you won't know what's happened. This plant is super healthy and happy, and her oldest bottom leaves are starting to turn and brown. I leave my dying leaves on my plants if it drives you nuts. There's nothing saying that you can't either cut off that leaf from your plant. Nothing bad's going to happen. It's just personal preference. Hello, my Planty Pals. It's me, Pearl, from the future. I'm editing this video right now, and as it turns out, I have a lot to say. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to split up the footage from this video into 2 parts. So thank you for watching part 1 of my video. Don't forget to hit that like button, and I would really love if you subscribe. Thank you so much. And I will see you soon for part 2. Have a good day.